Been some interesting news about pistol purchase permits in North Carolina. This is Alan with Quarter Horse Arms, and in this podcast, going to talk about what just happened in the news and what does that mean for people in North Carolina. Okay, so every now and then, I think it was a couple of times, a law came up or a bill came up saying, hey, let's just repeal the pistol purchase permit law. We don't need it. We have a NICS check, so why are we going through this rigmarole? And it never really flew. This time it made it through the state legislature. The governor promptly vetoed it, and then the state legislature promptly overthrew his veto. And that led to a couple of things right away. Number one, obviously, you no longer need to get a pistol purchase permit from your county sheriff's office. You can just go and buy a gun, and if you do not have a concealed carry handgun permit in North Carolina, you will have a NICS check run on you. So nothing there has really changed. They've just kind of removed that one step. Now, the sheriffs weren't getting rich off of the $5, but for me, as a gun dealer, it was an additional check and balance. Can I live without it? Absolutely. Funny thing was that when they were proposing this law, they were also talking about going, okay, let's get rid of the pistol purchase permit and let's make one for long guns. Which, when you think about it, was, all right, maybe that $5 is important to somebody. On the other hand, if you're getting rid of it for handguns, which, are more likely to be used in crimes in general, why would you want to put it in place for a long gun? So, just keeping that in perspective, I think it was a move in the right direction. What did that mean for people? Well, normally in North Carolina, without a concealed carry handgun permit, if you went to go buy a handgun, you had to spend $5. I'm pretty sure it was just, out where I am, it's $5. I'm pretty sure it's about the same throughout the state. You did it online most of the time, and you paid your $5, and then you could pick up your pistol purchase permits. They were good for something like 5 years. You had to renew them at each point. Much easier to have a concealed carry permit because then you don't have to, go through all that extra goofy stuff. Now, if you did file to purchase a pistol purchase permit, it doesn't really sound right. If you paid your $5 to get a pistol purchase permit and have not received it, I would check with your local sheriff's department because there's been some rumblings about the people that have paid that money not getting a refund. I don't know the accuracy of that, but, if that $5 is critical to you, by all means make the call. I guess otherwise you can consider it a donation to your local sheriff's department. Now, what else does this change with carrying a handgun in North Carolina? Well, nothing. This is not a constitutional carry state. This is an open carry state, which means if you don't have a concealed carry permit, you have to be open carrying the gun. It has to be exposed. So nothing has changed with that. If you were likely to fail a NICS check and couldn't get a pistol permit through the sheriff's office, you're probably not going to pass the NICS check now. Nothing has changed. We are not constitutional carry here, meaning there's no. We're not one of the. Well, I fumble over words. We're not one of the states that allows people to have permitless concealed carry. In some ways, I think that's actually pretty smart because you may wind up having people who should not be carrying guns. And, again, this does vary by state. North Carolina, the laws are, actually pretty straightforward to the point where, if a cop approaches you, the smart thing is to say, hey, I have a concealed carry permit and I am carrying a gun. I wouldn't yell that out to the world, but, there's an element of safety involved there, not just for you, but for the cop. Case in point, in North Carolina, the concealed carry handgun permits are tied to your driver's license. So what that means is when he runs your license, so, several years ago, I may have been doing slightly higher than the speed limit. And a local police officer, after pulling me over and informing me of the error of my ways, nice way of saying, I was breaking the law. I was, 20 plus miles over the limit. But at any rate, I did have a large number of guns in the car. And, I informed them. Now, out where I am, which is, kind of like redneck country, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but, the cop looks at me and goes, yeah, don't worry about it. But if I was carrying and did not inform him, I could be breaking the law. In fact, I am breaking the law. So, North Carolina rules, you're carrying a concealed weapon, you need to have the permit, and you need to have your government-issued ID. So in my case, I use my driver's license. If you don't have a driver's license, you can get a regular, like a North Carolina ID. So, plain and simple, it was a good move in North Carolina. Meaning we're relying on NICS check, which makes purchasing handguns for people without a concealed carry handgun permit much easier. It streamlines it. You don't have to worry about somebody going, I don't have a purchase permit. All right, well, fine. The gun's going to sit in my safe. No more of that. That's good. The other interesting thing that came out within hours of this was the ATF sending an email to all of us gun dealers saying that the pistol purchase permits would no longer be acceptable in terms of avoiding doing a NICS check, meaning they're no longer valid. And again, as an FFL, I ran a NICS check regardless of whether or not you had a pistol purchase permit. So if you're buying a long gun or a handgun, whatever, I still ran the NICS check unless you had the concealed carry handgun permit. That meant you were already background checked. Now, does it change the age that you can purchase the guns? Definitely not. You had to be 21 to buy a handgun before they changed this law. You still got to be 21. So the only thing that has changed in North Carolina is you no longer need to get a pistol purchase permit if you do not have a concealed carry handgun permit. So, a move in the right direction. Obviously, Governor Cooper did not think so. But to override his veto, the state legislature had to have an overwhelming majority that said, yeah, that's not happening. So, another win for Second Amendment in North Carolina. Still waiting to see what happens in California. But that's a thing for another podcast. At any rate, I look forward to hearing, questions, comments, concerns, criticism, ideas for podcasts if you want. You can call or text 919-808-6480. You can email to info@quarterhorsearms.com. Feel free to check out our website at quarterhorsearms.com. And as always, I'm Alan with Quarter Horse Arms in Snow Camp, North Carolina. You guys be safe out there.